Spider-Man. What is going on, guys? It is your boy Tickety Winter here, and we have a few topics to talk about here revolving around Spider-Man PS4 coming next week. Now, of course, as is par for the course for most games that come out in 2018, and pretty much all games that have come out in the past decade or so, it is going to be coming with, of course, a day one patch. And this could be minor tweaks, minor improvements to the game after it's gone gold and stuff like that. It's very minor things, but here we have a pretty substantial day one patch for Spider-Man PS4 that has been released, and a little bit more details that we have as well. And when the day one patch came into existence and got heard about from a lot of different people, of course a lot of fans went to Twitter and asked community director James Stevenson about what will be actually in the day one patch. And so one here asked, does Spider-Man PS4 have accessibility options like God of War and Uncharted 4? He replies saying it will be in our day one patch, but we will be sharing final details on that closer to release. And so this is great to hear as well, because if you guys aren't aware, there are a lot of games coming out that have these options for those that are disabled that still want to play the game. So for example, in Uncharted 4, there was the option where if there was a encounter in the game where you had to repeat a button press, you could instead toggle it to do just hold that button. And so you didn't have to press. For those that might be difficult to be able to keep tapping a button, you can instead hold the button down and it will act like you were tapping the button a bunch of times, so that Nathan Drake, for example, can punch an enemy a bunch of times without you having to tap it a bunch of times by just holding down the square button. So that is very good to hear that they're adding that into this game as well. I feel that should be a staple. That should definitely be a thing that every game has, you know, for all those that are disabled as well. So definitely nice to hear that Spider-Man PS4 and Insomniac Games are following suit with accessibility options. And the one here that really caught my eye, and definitely I'm very interested in, is someone asked him how long is the whole game and are you allowed to give an answer. He says our average playtester took around 20 hours on default difficulty, but some spent a lot longer if they did a ton of side quests and activities. So that's what I was kind of presuming this game would be in. There were these crazy rumors that the game, like, main story was only 6 hours long. That's absurd. There's no way it was going to be that. But I'm really glad to hear that it's around 20 hours. Just for context, for me playing a regular standard playthrough and regular difficulty, I beat God of War in about that time as well. I think I clocked in at like 22 hours. But looks like Spider-Man will be kind of in the same vein, where you're going to be, if you're going to be an average player, you know, maybe dabble in some side quests, but not all of them, it's going to be around 20 hours to beat the game on default difficulty. But of course, if you are doing a completionist run and you're completing all the side quests and trying to get that platinum, definitely you're going to be spending a lot more longer time than 20 hours on the game, I'm presuming. And next up here, someone posted a screenshot of them ordering the game on PS Store online, and then he asked if they knew any size of the game, and they asked James Stevenson, of course. Then he replied by saying, we'll try to have an answer on that soon, but 45 gigabytes minimum, probably a bit more plus patch and stuff. So it looks like the game is going to clock out at around, I want to say like 55 gigs, maybe something like that, 50 gigs, at least on PS4. Well, obviously on PS4, it's the only platform it's coming out on, but it looks like it's going to be around 45 to 55 gigs for the game. And that's not just the game, that's of course the game as well as the patch and a bunch of other stuff that he says as well. So it looks like it's in its full entirety with the game and everything that it needs, day one at least. It should be around 45 to 50 gigs when everything is all said and done, at least on day one. And of course that will begin to expand when we get our 3-chapter DLC later on in the year, so make sure to go look out for that. And also I made a video about that as well, so if you want a little more info on that DLC, make sure to go check it down below in the description. I will link it down there. And of course we will have reviews coming for the game a little bit prematurely of the release, of course, and the scheduled date for all of the publications to release their reviews are going to be this Tuesday on September 4th. So make sure to go check it out and make sure to look in. Obviously we did not get any review codes or copies or anything of the sorts, even though I wish we did. I really wish we did, but you know, someday maybe another big PlayStation exclusive, we might get some later on in the future. But right now, as of right now, we did not. And those that have, though, they have been looking into some things, and obviously they're under NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so they cannot, you know, share anything before the actual embargo date for the reviews. And they can't even, you know, detail some specific parts in the game as well, even when they have the review, because of course they want to preserve some of the big secrets in the game as well. But one of the things that you also cannot do is you know, tell the details of the day one patch. We would talk about that as well. And beyond the things that the James Stevenson, the director of the game, the community director, excuse me, has said on tweets and everything, that's obviously been official. But there are some other things that have been leaked that were by these reviewers that were under NDA. So technically we aren't supposed to know this, and technically a lot of people could get in trouble if they figure out who exactly broke the news here. But we did get 3 big tidbits that are going to be in the day one patch for Spider-Man PS4. The first one here is New Game Plus along with Ultimate Edition difficulty. So I guess maybe when you play through the game and it's for all entirety, at least one playthrough, you get to unlock, of course, New Game Plus, as well as the addition of a new difficulty mode called Ultimate, which is a really cool throwback to one of my favorite Spider-Man games. Just kidding, my favorite Spider-Man game as of right now. Of course, I believe this one will surpass it, but you know, as of right now, my favorite Spider-Man game is Ultimate Spider-Man from the PS2, and I think I'm going to make a video about that here coming up in the next week. But you know, besides that, we are getting this difficulty mode called Ultimate in the game, so I'm assuming that's gonna be very hard and a much, you know, aggressive type of game that you will be getting on Spider-Man PS4, as well as, of course, New Game Plus, which is great to hear as well. Next up here, they said that they continue to add a new polish to the game. Of course, you know, that's every day one patch. They, you know, make sure that everything is all good, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, all that good stuff, all the polos are there, and trust we have a video about the polos coming, okay? Do not fret, boys. I have big opinions on it. That actually might be my next video I'm gonna make today. But beside the point, okay, we have continued polish to the game, as well as minor bug fixing. Of course, that's part of the course on day one. And then also we have a big feature that you've been seeing on the screen probably right now. That is photo mode is coming to the game. That is a great thing to hear, and I really do enjoy this trend of a lot of PlayStation exclusives that are very aesthetically pleasing having a bunch of photo modes. From God of War had one, Uncharted 4 had one, and now of course Spider-Man PS4 is having one. I hope Ghost of Tsushima has one, and I hope Days Gone does as well. Maybe Days Gone will probably be not that impressive just because the game isn't like that aesthetically pleasing, obviously open world. But you know, to be fair, Spider-Man PS4 is an open world game too, so you know, take it as you will. But of course, I am really excited to have this photo mode, and we see with the trailer, there's a bunch of different options that you can change, from focal length to the bokeh, I'm assuming, and all that good stuff. And you can also add stickers and frames to the actual pictures that you make. And the good thing about the frames is that you can even make it look like a comic book as well. So that is a really cool addition. It definitely fits into, of course, the game and its roots and where the actual IP came from. And I'm really excited to use photo mode in this game. And I think, you know, God of War maybe dabble it in a little bit, you know what I'm saying, because I wasn't really that hot on it with Uncharted 4 and any of the other ones previous to God of War, just because I didn't, you know, want to waste time. Well, not like waste time, but I just don't want to invest my gaming time into just photo mode. But I did do it a little bit in God of War. I definitely enjoyed it. It was fun to mess around with, fun to see what angles I can make, different edits I could do as well. And so having it with, of course, Spider-Man in New York City, my hometown, my home city, that's going to be absolute. Well, not really, I'm from Queens, but you know, Spider-Man from the Queens too, so you know, it's all good. Me and Spider-Man, we homies, we like bros. But anyway, it's gonna be really fun to, of course, mess around here with Spider-Man PS4 and on the photo mode as well in New York City. And that is just about my time here on this video, guys, and that's pretty much all I had to say revolving the topics here. And before we go, of course, you guys maybe saw on Twitter, on my personal Twitter, if you don't follow it, it will be linked in the description, of course. And I got my hands on the digital deluxe edition of the game. I went with the digital version. I was bouncing for between if I was going to do digital or going to do physical, but I decided, let me just scratch it, let me just do physical, I mean digital, and let's just call it a day, right? So I have it downloading right now, and I believe the preload is set to start, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I will, of course, update the channel and let you guys know when, you know, you can preload the game and exactly how to do that. It should be automatic if you do it digitally. But the thing that I want to talk about here also is, of course, we're all hyped for the game. We're all excited for it. I cannot wait for this Spider-Man game. It is something that I have been thinking about, all I can think about, and you know, I've been trying to even beat Dead Cells as well, to just have that review out before the game even comes out, because I am going to clear the schedule, boys. I'm clearing the slate. I'm taking off, okay, I'm not taking off work, I can't take off work, but I'm gonna clear the slate as much as possible. I'm not going to no parties in college. I'm gonna be doing my homework extra early, you know, this next coming week, because I want to clear my schedule completely for Spider-Man PS4. But the one thing I want to ask you guys as well is, of course, I will be covering topics about the game as well as I've been doing the book as well, of course. But how do you want me to do the game in terms of the gameplay? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you prefer streams? Would you like me to do a full let's play of the game? Like, for example, I do have all of my God of War footage recorded. My entire gameplay, my entire playthrough of God of War from start to finish is 100% recorded, and I was gonna upload that as kind of a just playlist, as a playthrough, and I was gonna see if you guys were interested in that. Of course, it will, you know, it will spam your sub box for a good a day or two. But once they all get uploaded, I'll put them in a nice little playlist, and that will be the God of War playlist where you guys can watch God of War in its full entirety. Would you like the same thing for Spiderman PS4? Would you like me to do a live let's play of the game? What were you guys thinking of how you guys want me to cover this? Or maybe just stream the whole thing, because that's completely fine. These streams will be at odd hours. They'll be like maybe towards midday, towards the end of the day, and of course that might be weird with time zones, but I usually get home and start playing my games, and that's around 10 o'clock my time, Mountain Standard Time. So that is what, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? So it might be a little bit weird in that standpoint to do streams, but if you were looking for maybe a live let's play of the game, or just me just record the game in its raw format and then just upload them as a play or something like that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How do you guys want me to go about creating content around the gameplay of Spiderman PS4 and my playthrough of Spiderman PS4 to you guys? I really want to know what you think. Let me know how you feel down in the comments below. And also, do you want to see me upload the entire God of War playthrough I have? It is about like 20 hours long or something like that, like 22 hours, but of course I will divide them up into episodes and do them in chunks. If you guys are interested in that gameplay, make sure to let me know how you feel about it, and I will of course you know, upload them if you guys want to see them. I'll make a playlist and everything and just have it up on the channel. That way you guys can at least watch God of War if you haven't gone around to it somehow, or just, you know, if you want to see key points in the game, or you know, anything like that. Let me know how you feel down in the comments below. And while you are down there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation and all things Spider-Man as well. And before you go, make sure to check out the description where you can find the Instagram and Twitter. Follow us on there. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.